What is up, Hawk fans? I have a fun, quick video today. Every video is a fun, quick video. I want to thank you guys for your support. These like short form, quick setups with the Rode mic really are popular. The recent videos have gotten quite a bit of views, and so I appreciate all your guys' support, even the ones that disagree. I just want to comment on that really quickly. Even with those who disagree, even if my response back might be a little sassy, I don't take it personally, and it's not like I get upset that you continue to watch the content or anything of that matter. The way I see it is, if you want to be sassy towards me, you kind of open the door for me to be sassy towards you. But I do find every now and again, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, there will be people who will say something that is a disagreement, but not just that, it's a aggressive, silly disagreement in my eyes. And, I'll respond and I'll comment back to it, and then they'll kind of backtrack because I don't think they expected me to respond in that manner, and say, oh, well, I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that way, which is fine. But nonetheless, I thank you guys for the support of the videos. Like I said, this is all good fun. And I from the beginning, I've said that I wanted to start a community with my channel. I'm not affiliated with anybody, which is still quite strange considering, how well the channel does. But, it just goes to show that most businesses, or a lot of businesses, don't know what the heck they're doing, and really aren't on the lookout for ways that they can improve the product. But nonetheless, like I said, I'm not affiliated with anybody, and I think that that's a good thing because it does allow me to be completely honest and completely transparent about everything I believe. By the way, hit that subscribe button. We're inching closer to 2,000 subscribers. Let's get the channel there. Let me know what you guys think about what I'm about to discuss in the comment section. Dislike the video, whatever. It definitely helps the video algorithm out. And without further ado, let's dive into this. So I came across an article that on on3.com. I've told you guys that I use on3.com as my main source for recruiting. And by the way, for what it's worth, I do also want to comment. Personally, I no longer get super wrapped up in recruiting, okay? I used to, but I don't anymore, because as you get older, you realize that there's so many other factors. Ultimately, it's not your decision. Ultimately, you're not the one that's recruiting these kids. These kids have so many other factors, family members, money, so many factors going into whatever decision that they decide to make. And at the same time, they're kids, and sometimes kids can be idiots. I know we're not supposed to criticize athletes anymore because athletes are supreme, but sometimes they do make dumb decisions. Kids make dumb decisions, not just young kids that are athletes. But I still cover it because I have the channel, and it's Iowa related, and a lot of fans do care about recruiting, and that's totally fine. I care about it insofar as, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say I'm probably at like a 4 or 5. But before, I used to be like an 8 out of 10. And I just wanted to comment on that because I've seen some comments stating that they also don't care about recruiting as much. They only care about the product on the field, and it's understandable. Recruiting, especially in the modern landscape, is crazy. It is crazy. So I came across this article about Florida State's Mike Norvell agrees to restructured contract that gives $4.5 million to fundraising campaign. So I'm going to read this article. When I say that I do the quick setup with the Rode mic, what that means is I attach it to the stand that I have, put the Rode mic on with my phone, and then I just record. But I can't share the screen like I would in my normal setup. And my other microphone's probably a little bit better. And the camera is probably a little bit better. But this is just easier and quicker for me to do. Florida State and Mike Norvell have agreed to a restructured contract that includes the football coach contributing $4.5 million of his 2025 salary to help launch a fundraising campaign amid the sport's changing financial landscape. Of course, I'll bring this back to Iowa shortly. Norvell signed a new deal last spring that nearly doubled his annual salary to $9.9 million. If you're not aware, that put him at 6th for coaches that make the most money. Kirby Smart, number 1, Dabo Swinney, 2, Steve Sarkisian, 3, Lincoln Riley, 4, Ryan Day, 5, and this is according to USA Today. And just in case you're wondering as well, Kirk Ferentz ranks 23rd, making $7 million per year. And I believe that this includes their base salary and bonuses that they made the previous year on top of max bonuses that they can get according to their contract. Okay. Now, Norvell is doing something to help fund the team's rebuild. He signed an amended one-year contract to spearhead the school's new Vision of Excellence program, which will raise money as colleges begin to share revenue directly in athletes under the new House Settlement Agreement. The agreement permits Division I schools to share up to $20.5 million annually with athletes beginning July 1st. Now, I don't know if that is a per sport thing or if that's like collectively for your entire athletic program. Also, I do find it funny, leave it to universities to put this under the guise of a name, Vision of Excellence Program. Come on. This is, you want to win more games. You want to get your program to the best place possible to win more. And I guess in not so many words, that's what that is. But, it's just funny. I find it funny that colleges always camouflage it by putting these beautiful phrases or soft phrases rather than, saying, no, just flat out, no, we need to have more money for our collective and we're going to give it to the athletes plain and simple. Anyways, I digress. I wanted to be proactive in my financial assistance through this time of transition as we all push forward to get back to the standard of Florida State football. Florida State went 2-10, I believe. After they nearly made the college football playoff, or did they make the college football playoff? I don't think they did, because it was a big thing that they were not included. It was Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Alabama that were included. Norvell said in a statement released Monday, I believe this step will help accelerate the process to where I know we are going. Norvell, though, will have a chance to earn the money back. His revised contract includes an annual performance bonus that would pay him $750,000 beginning in 2026 if the Seminoles win at least 9 games. So if Florida State wins 9 games every year between 2026 and 2031, Norvell would earn back the $4.5 million. His revised contract also includes an amendment that would give Norvell a prorated portion of the $4.5 million if he's fired without cause between now and the end of the deal. It starts at 85% of the $4.5 million if he's fired in 2025 and decreased by $750,000 every year through 2031. Now, I don't know what for cause means in the world of coaching. You know, I don't know if you don't meet the expectations or the whatever fits within your contract of expected outcome, winning minimum X amount of games, if that's cause. I don't know, because the sports world is so much different than the rest of the working world. Okay, vocational world. Norvell is at least the third coach in the past 2 weeks to give back to his school in some way, shape, or form. LSU coach Brian Kelly announced last week that he would match donations up to $1 million to the school's collective. Oklahoma State coach Mike Gundy signed a reduced contract that funnels the saved money to revenue-sharing efforts. Norvell is 33 and 27 in 5 years at Florida State. His tenure includes a 13-0 start to the 2023 season, the one in which the undefeated Seminoles got snubbed in the college football playoff. So that's essentially it. Okay, now let me bring this around to Iowa football. Okay, so I have seen, so let's start here. Is it possible that Kirk Ferentz, who makes $7 million a year, could ever do this? Can I foresee a situation where he starts to funnel money and restructure his contract in order for the Swarm Collective or the university to have as much money as possible to get to have as many resources possible to get the best players possible? Yes, I mean, I can see a situation where that happens. I think there's kind of two main ways that I view this. I mean, on one hand, Kirk Ferentz has been there a long time. He's made a lot of money. He's towards the end of his career. He might be more willing because of that to do it. But conversely, because he's at the end of his career, he may not care as much because he's more comfortable in his position and he doesn't feel that he needs to do that. Okay. Now, obviously, Kirk Ferentz isn't the highest paid coach in the country, but he still makes a lot of money. Okay. He's still a top 25 compensated coach. Okay. Iowa has more than taken care of him. Iowa has more than been competitive in their pay of coaches, including the head coaching position. Okay, Iowa would not be able to hold on to the assistant coaches that they've been able to hold on to if their pay was not competitive. Okay, it is. Just some Big Ten schools that pay more. Apparently, Michigan State's coach makes $250,000 more. Wisconsin's Luke Fickell makes more. Dan Lenny makes more. He's 14th. James Franklin makes more. He's 12th. And then, of course, there's Ohio State that is 5th. Let's see where Michigan is at. Minnesota PJ Fleck makes $6 million. Nebraska Matt Rule makes $6.5 million and is 31st. Sharon Moore makes $6 million and is 35th. I do think that Kirk Ferentz is compensated and Iowa's coaching staff is compensated sufficiently. Okay, could always be more, but it is competitive pay, especially considering Iowa's performance recently. The bottom line is, guys, you do have to pay coaches, especially in Power 4 conferences, a substantial amount, especially if they have had any sort of success. Now, the fine line is between, especially if you're trying to find a coach that does well and you're trying to get back on track, the fine line is between spending enough to get the coach that you want, but not spending so much to where if it doesn't work out, you're screwed, because you have to pay all that money. So Yes, to answer my own question, I can see a situation where Kirk Ferentz does that. Now, most coaches I don't think are doing that. It is the exception, not the rule. But I do think you will start to see it more and more. The On3 article literally stated that this is an example that coaches are starting to realize what they have to do in order to be competitive in the modern football landscape. So time will tell. You know, if this really does start catching on, I can foresee a situation where Kirk Ferentz does it. I certainly don't think Kirk Ferentz will be the first one that does it, or one of the first people to do it. But he if it catches on enough and becomes a thing, the pressure will be too strong. He'll do it. So we'll see. That's something to keep an eye on, guys. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is because I wasn't aware that this was a thing. I have always thought, especially with the new NIL situation, because I always see fans saying when it comes to the collective agreement, well, former Iowa players don't contribute to the Iowa program enough. Okay, well, fair enough. And they should. Especially if they made it to the NFL, they should give back to the school that helped propel their career. But unfortunately, in the modern landscape, a lot of people have huge egos and think that they did it all on their lonesome. But conversely, if you expect them to do it, and I've thought about this for a while, then why can't the coaches do it? Because in the end, this money goes back to them in one way, shape, or form anyways. You know, you can make the case that them putting money into the collective or putting money into whatever situation that they have to give resources to the players and accumulate talent, that money, it's an investment, that money will come back to them after they win more games, after they're more successful. And there is a way for you to structure your contract to where you give that money, but that money circles back to you even if you don't win, as you guys saw with Mike Norvell. Now, the easiest way for it to get back to you is by winning, and you can certainly make the case as well that maybe it's not as much money as you would get, because if you didn't give that money and you won anyways, then you would get those bonuses, and thus it would be more money because you wouldn't be making up for lost money. You would just be adding money to whatever money that you have made. Fair, and that's a fair point. But still, overall, I think the bigger case to be made is that this can be seen as an investment. And with Mike Norvell, how he gets that money back is through winning 9 games. It'll be reinserted and given to him by way of bonuses. Now, the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about, this is the most important thing outside of that. This spurred me to look at the schools that make the most money, because a common thing that I see from Iowa fans is that Iowa does not have a lot of money when it comes to football, that they do not, that they can't compete with the big boys. And I have said time and time again that this is just patently false. And I don't know where people get these sources from. I don't know where they get these, whether they're just mimicking what they've heard from other people. I mean, that is what a lot of people do. Monkey see, monkey do. No, we're all guilty of that. But let me dispel you of that. Let me just make, and I did this in a previous video. Let me just make a logical case for you. Okay. Does Iowa have one of the best fan bases in the Big Ten? Yes. Okay. They, year in, year out, have some of the best attendance records in the Big Ten. Do they have the biggest stadium in the country? No, but it's competitive. What is Kinnick Stadium sit 70 plus thousand? I only know this because when I used to play NCAA college football, the game, it always said that Kinnick Stadium seated capacity 69,250, and I actually think they lost some seats because they made some they added a lot more suites and a lot more like creature comfort situations for the game where you can come and hang out and really have a good time. Because that's what a lot of modern stadiums are trying to do. They're trying to facilitate, especially for big money spenders, this kind of all-encompassing entertainment situation. Okay. Kinnick Stadium capacity, let's see. Yeah, 69,000. So, yes. Do fans buy a lot of Iowa gear? Check. Yes. How long has this been the case? Well, this has been the case for, you could make the case, the last 40 years. Now, I'm not as familiar with the Hayden Fry days because that was beyond my days, but the Iowa football has been successful with the exception of a few seasons here and there for the past 40 seasons, guys. 40 seasons. It has been successful. So if you don't think that Iowa football has money, you are just mistaken. And if you don't think that the University of Iowa has like alumni other than professional athletes that have money, again, you're sadly mistaken. All Big Ten schools do. Okay, Ashton Kutcher is a big Iowa fan. There's another comedian I forget his name. I don't particularly like the guy that much, who is a popular guy. He was on, I saw him on Trailer Park Boys. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with that show. If you're not, you guys can check it out on Netflix. It's not everybody. It's an acquired taste TV show for sure. It's a Canadian show. But he was in there in the latter seasons with Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg. So that's just my logical case to you guys, okay? Is Iowa on par with the Nebraskas? Maybe not, but they're close. Nebraska's like top dog. If I were to rank top fan participation in the Big Ten, I would probably, in no particular order, I'd go Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Nebraska, and Iowa. Those would be the top five. At times, Wisconsin is there, but a lot of times, and I've seen this from Wisconsin YouTube channels, fans, if Wisconsin is not doing well, they turn their attention to the Packers or to pro sports. So, anyways, and then I pulled this up. This is just a simple, just to get this out of the way and get straight to it, because we're approaching 30 minutes here. I'm making a concerted effort to make these videos quicker. You guys can look up the revenue that each university brings in for especially for football. I'm sure you could do it for each sport, but you can definitely do it for football, okay? All these universities post their numbers. So in the Big Ten, University of Michigan is number one. They are third overall, and they bring in $142,767,000 a year. Ohio State, which this is kind of surprising to me that Ohio State is behind Michigan. Because it does generally seem like Ohio State has more money than Michigan. Ohio State is seventh at $127 million and some change. Nebraska, and so second in the Big Ten. Nebraska is 10th, third in the Big Ten. They bring in $120,840,000 and some change. Penn State is number 11. Which would make them fourth, bringing in $114 million. And that actually did kind of surprise me. I actually thought that they would be slightly ahead of Nebraska, but still. University of Wisconsin, this one really surprised me, is 13th, and they bring in $104 million, making them fifth. And guess who number 6 is? The University of Iowa, who is 18th in the entire country. They're actually down 2 spots from the previous year. Last year, they were 16th. This year, they are 18th. But they still made 1.3% more than they made the previous year, which is good. They're down 2 spots, but they still made more money. You know, the University of Oregon lost 1.3%. Iowa brings in more money than the University of Oregon, okay? Iowa is up there with the likes of Florida State, Texas A&M, Florida. Actually, Washington. Washington is 6th. Iowa would be 7th in the Big Ten. Louisiana State is 12th. LSU. Okay, these are some big names. Iowa brings in more money than USC. I'm looking at, and this is from College Raptor. They get these, I guarantee they get these numbers. Top sports by revenue is a measure of the individual sports program at each college or university that bring in the most revenue regardless of expenses. This ranking can give you an overall look at which sports are most popular and generate most revenue. Okay, I guarantee they pulled these numbers from, you know, the numbers that the schools have. Minnesota is 21st. Miami is 24th. Iowa brings in more money than the University of Miami. They bring in more money than Clemson. They bring in more money than Virginia Tech. Okay? So, just to wrap this video up, I don't want to hear that Iowa doesn't have the money. Okay? Now, this is not me making a case that Iowa needs to dump all this money at this player in the transfer portal and this player. No. I'm not saying that. Okay? You do need to be frugal. You do need to try and pick up the best deals that you can. Just because you have money doesn't mean that you need to spend said money. I believe that. You need to still be smart with your financials. But I am tired of seeing Iowa fans say and use this as an excuse as to why Iowa didn't land a player. Oh, they lost money. They do it with high school and they do it with the transfer portal. They say, oh, well, this other, it was all for the money. This other school just wanted to pay more. Okay, well, maybe that might be true, but that's not because Iowa didn't have the money. It's just because Iowa didn't want to spend the money, which are two different things, which I don't think most of the people who make those comments understand the distinction. So Iowa has the money, guys. They do. Do they have the most money? No, but they have the money. I still think Iowa needs to be frugal and try and get the most bang for their buck that they can possible and try to have bargains when they can. But please stop using the excuse that Iowa does not have money. They do. They definitely do. Okay, Iowa has one of the best fan bases in all of college football. All of college football. So, all right, guys, I just wanted to do a quick fun video. There hasn't been a ton of news dropped. Iowa, just to wrap this up, Iowa was linked to a Penn State transfer quarterback, Bo Pendelingo or something like that. Let me get it pulled up here, and then we'll wrap this up. Bo Pribula. And he's actually rated as a 4-star. I don't know too much about him. He probably was sandwiched behind Drew Allar, which was Penn State's starting quarterback. I do think if he chose Iowa, that he would compete for the starting quarterback position immediately and would probably be slightly ahead of Hank Brown. Another quarterback that Iowa has been linked to is former Ohio State quarterback Devin Brown. So we'll see. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching and all the support. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment. You guys know all the drill. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. Facts are feelings because your feelings just don't matter. I love you, Hawk fans. See you guys next time. Your boy has you covered every step of the way. See you guys next time. Go Hawks. Bye-bye.